For most of human history, women were expected to obey laws they had little power to create. They could be married without meaningful consent, own little or no property, be denied education, be barred from voting, and in many places lose legal rights over their own children. Today, many people assume women's rights are a settled issue, that the battle is over. But if that's true, why are debates over women's autonomy, reproductive rights, political leadership, equal pay, and personal freedom still some of the most heated arguments in modern society? To understand where we are now, we have to look at where we came from. Because for thousands of years, the question was never whether women had rights, it was whether society believed they should have them at all. Throughout history, women have existed under legal systems largely designed and controlled by men. This wasn't unique to one culture, one religion, or one country. From ancient civilizations to medieval kingdoms and modern nation-states, women were frequently treated as dependents rather than independent citizens. The specifics varied from place to place, but the pattern remained remarkably consistent. Men generally held greater political power. Men generally controlled property. Men generally wrote the laws. And women often found themselves living under rules they had little ability to influence. The result was a world in which a woman's choices about marriage, money, work, education, and even her own body were often constrained by law. One of the most striking realities of history is how often women were treated not as autonomous individuals, but as extensions of male authority. In many societies, daughters were considered the responsibility of their fathers until marriage. After marriage, that authority often transferred to the husband. Under English common law, which heavily influenced American law, a legal doctrine known as coverture effectively merged a married woman's legal identity into that of her husband. A married woman often could not independently own property, sign contracts, or control her own earnings. Legally speaking, husband and wife became one person, and that one person was the husband. The idea seems shocking today, but for centuries it was considered normal. Women were expected to obey, while men were expected to govern. The legal system reflected those assumptions. The control didn't stop with marriage. Historically, fathers often possessed overwhelming legal authority over children. If a marriage ended, mothers frequently had few rights to custody. Even when women were primary caregivers, courts often treated children as belonging to the father's household. In many legal systems, a mother could lose access to her own children with little recourse. The assumption was simple. The father was the head of the family, the children followed him. While custody laws have changed dramatically in many countries, disputes over guardianship, parental authority, and family rights continue around the world. In some regions today, fathers still possess significantly greater legal authority than mothers regarding children and family decisions. The idea that mothers are equal legal parents is far newer than many people realize. Women's experiences in medicine reveal another side of this history. For centuries, medical institutions were overwhelmingly male. Women's health concerns were often misunderstood, minimized, or dismissed. Pain reported by women was frequently attributed to emotional instability. The diagnosis of hysteria became a catch-all explanation for behaviors that male physicians struggled to understand. Medical research often focused primarily on male bodies, and as a result, women sometimes received treatments based on assumptions rather than evidence. Even today, researchers continue studying differences in how illnesses present in women versus men. The idea was never simply biology, it was power. Who conducted the research? Who made the decisions? Whose experiences were considered authoritative? For much of history, women had little influence over those answers. Economic freedom is one of the most powerful forms of freedom, yet for generations, women were denied it. Many women could not open bank accounts independently. Many could not obtain loans without male approval. Professional opportunities were limited, educational opportunities were restricted. Entire careers were effectively closed to women. This created a cycle. Without financial independence, women had fewer options. Without options, they had less bargaining power. Without bargaining power, inequality became self-perpetuating. The fight for women's rights was never just about voting. It was also about economic survival. The ability to earn, own, invest, inherit, and control one's own future. At this point, it might be tempting to think this story has a happy ending. Women gained the vote. Many legal barriers fell, opportunities expanded, case closed. But if equality has truly arrived, why do debates over women's rights remain so politically explosive today? For most of recorded history, women had virtually no voice in government. Laws affecting women were often written entirely by men. Taxes were imposed without representation. Rules governing marriage, employment, education, and property were created without female participation. The struggle for suffrage changed that. Women organized, protested, petitioned, and demanded recognition as citizens. The right to vote was a historic achievement, but voting alone did not guarantee equal political influence. Representation remained uneven. Women entered political institutions slowly. Even today, many countries continue debating the role women should play in leadership. One of the most contentious modern debates concerns abortion. Supporters of abortion rights often argue that reproductive decisions belong primarily to the woman because she bears the physical consequences of pregnancy. Opponents argue that society also has an interest in protecting unborn life. The disagreement is intense precisely because it touches a deeper question that has existed throughout history. Who gets to decide what happens to a woman's body? While abortion is only one issue among many, it has become a symbol of a larger debate about autonomy, authority, and personal choice. The legal barriers facing women today are dramatically different from those faced by women centuries ago. Yet questions remain. Do voters judge male and female leaders differently? Are women expected to meet standards that men are not? Do stereotypes about leadership still influence political outcomes? Some scholars and commentators argue that the defeats of female presidential candidates in the United States suggest that gender bias remains a significant factor in politics. Is it merely coincidental that both times Trump ran against women candidates with a depth of political experience that he won, while the one time he ran against a male candidate, he lost? Others argue that elections are influenced by many variables, but the coincidence is startling. What cannot be disputed is that the United States has existed for centuries without electing a woman to the presidency. Whether that reflects lingering bias, political circumstance, or a combination of factors remains an ongoing discussion. Women's rights did not emerge naturally. They were demanded, debated, resisted, and fought for across generations. The ability to own property, the ability to vote, the ability to pursue education, the ability to control finances, the ability to participate in government, these were victories won over time, not gifts freely given. History shows that rights are rarely permanent. They can expand, they can contract, and they can be challenged. The story of women's rights is not simply about the past. It is about a continuing argument over freedom, equality, and who gets to decide the course of their own lives. Whether one believes the struggle is largely complete or still unfinished, understanding that history is essential, because the choices societies make tomorrow are often shaped by the lessons they remember or forget from yesterday. If you're still here and have reached the end of this video, be sure to click subscribe below to see more videos like this one. Thank you for watching.